The changing landscape of the housing market in Las Vegas requires a real estate professional that understands how to get your offer accepted, willing to go above and beyond for service and accountability. Hi, my name is Dan French. I've been in the real estate and financing industry for over 13 years. Most real estate agents struggle with answering their phone. Please call me directly, 702-557-6176. I'm available for all your real estate needs.
Dan's a fantastic man. He really is.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
And what's going on, everybody? This is Dan French here. Just wanted to give you guys, what was that? That was a quick glitch right there, wasn't it? This is Dan French. This is the French Workbench podcast here on a Tuesday. And I want to thank you guys. So we have a really good show for you guys today. Everybody out there suffering, man. They're feeling it. They're starting to see, look around and see what's happening with this housing market, what's going on with rates, what's happening with inflation, and nothing but a lot of news that's out there is all negative news. So we're going to talk a lot about what's happening in the markets. Do we see a decline that we've seen? Are we going to see a retraction like we saw in 2006 for the housing market? We're also going to talk about a meeting we've had that said that the market's going to probably come down at least 30% by December. We're going to talk about that and rates. Where are mortgage rates headed? Also, we're going to sprinkle in some Las Vegas news and what's happening with that. Also, I want to introduce my guest here, or you can call him my co-host now, Mr. Nathan Earhart. What's up, buddy? How are you?
If I'm your co-host, you got to get the name right, man. It's Ethan.
Or Ethan. I don't know why I said Nathan.
Nathan is my son.
That's your son? That's where I got confused. I think you said that to me one time. That's probably what happened. Yeah. So what's going on, Ethan? How are you, man?
No, I'm fantastic, man. Had a great weekend. Just came back from Middle Earth. I was in Minnesota for the weekend.
Yeah, man. What are you doing out there?
Oh, God, losing my mind. No, I had a wonderful, relaxing weekend with a very special someone, and I really went to go get away from, the fastness of Vegas and everything that we do here. So I needed a getaway, man.
Dude, so what's up with like Minnesota? Like, what do you see in Minnesota? Like, is there anything to do? You said it's really cold there still right now, or no?
This whole weekend it was like mid-70s. It was beautiful.
Wow.
It rained a couple times. I was surprised I could go outside. Yeah. And I didn't need the air conditioning.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. I mean, there's a lot of green landscape. The best thing I can say was it was like unplugging from reality.
Really?
I took like 9 naps over the weekend, and I've never taken a nap in my life.
Dude, I don't know what I would do in Minnesota. I mean, it seemed like there's a lot to do in Vegas, obviously, but when you come from Vegas to go to Minnesota, is it kind of like, wow, it just went from one extreme to the other?
Time stops, man. Time stood still. They're 2 hours ahead, so flying there, you're going into the future, obviously. So when you do time travel, I'm not sure if you know how that works.
Time travel? Oh yeah, man. I love doing time travel, bro. I mean, we do it 2 or 3 times a week. So
yeah, but they've got all kinds of stuff. You got the Mall of America, which is the biggest mall in the world.
Yeah,
which is a nightmare.
Well, let me say this, man. So you love Las Vegas. I love Las Vegas. We have a lot of things to talk about what's happening here. I don't think I would ever move from here. I mean, the weather does get extreme. It's been pretty hot lately.
Today, not so bad, right?
Not so bad, man. But like Sunday, Saturday, I didn't want to go anywhere. I would go out and we went to the stores and we did things. And I can't. Like, I
was it like
deal with
110 over the weekend?
Yeah, it was like 110. Ouch. So I don't know. To me, it's not terrible. But it's just across the country right now. We're at a heat wave. So you didn't know about that, huh?
No, where I was at, it was nice and breezy, and it was actually really wonderful.
So let's talk, man. Let's talk a little bit about what we're going to chat with today about what's happening in the market. So people out there, everybody's a little scared with some of the data that's coming out. We have the Fed's fund rate possibly getting raised tomorrow. They're going to have the Fed's fund meeting, 75 basis points they're talking about. They did this back in the 80s, right? They just said, look, the big thing here is that they can't get the economy to slow. It's slow, but they can't get the inflation to slow down with the economy. It's still, the inflation's still high.
But when you said 80s, I mean, it was at a point where it was what, 10, 12, 13, even 15%, right?
Yeah,
the
but
interest rate?
Yeah, but the tactic that they use is let's raise rates, let's slow the economy down, and what's happening is it's not happening that way. And so they have to go to an extreme level, I think, at this point. So that's on the table. Right.
Well, they're going to raise the rates, but if house prices come down, wouldn't that technically, I guess, in the long run, kind of balance itself out if that's the case?
No, because the housing is 1/3 of the economy.
Okay.
You look at the groceries right now. Groceries are at a 40-year high. Inflation's 40-year high.
Gas is driving me nuts, man.
It's crazy, man. So I mean, like for me, I look at this and I'm saying, well, when does it stop or when is it going to stop? And I feel like it's either you have to go all in. You can't. They're trying to make it a soft landing where they slowly build this in. I feel that they're saying, okay, that's not working. So we got to go to the extreme now. We got to go 75 basis points. We got to raise this thing to a point. I just think, man, the economy's already slowing down. I could see it.
Well, there's got to be a reason that all of this is happening. It's not just one thing happening here, this, that, and the other. Gas prices have nothing to do with food. Food has nothing to do with homes. But there's got to be, in the grand scheme of things, there's got to be something that's connecting all of this together, right? That is affecting every single avenue of everyone's life.
I feel this, man. I feel that, the economy shut down, right? We went through a recession. Everybody had stimulus checks. We were printing money, right? Putting money in circulation. Unfortunately, I think a lot of this is starting to come full circle where we're starting to get affected by it. Because look, I mean, you go to the stores, you go get gas, cars. I mean, so it's really affecting the psychological. It has a psychological impact on people, not just buying houses, just in life.
So if everyone stopped for like 3 days, let's say just everyone in the country said, you know what, screw it, we're not getting gas. 3 days, just a 3-day strike. I guarantee you every person right now in America has enough gas in their car to last the next 3 days. So just stay away from the gas stations. Let's just go on strike. Everyone.
Is that going to solve it though? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. You got to band together. You got to fight back.
Well,
right?
I agree.
In the 70s, people used to chain themselves to trees and buildings and weird shit to get things. But no one's doing that now. But you've got to learn to kind of take charge and say, you know what? We're not going to take it. We've got to fight back. There's got to be a balance. You can't just keep getting screwed. You can only get bent over so many times before you stop and say, hey, can you stop doing that?
So we all know that the mortgage industry is suffering right now. You got companies laying off people. Right? Everybody's like, hey, man, it's the party. Everybody's partying. Right? Everybody's out. Everybody's making money, record numbers, banner years. And now it's stopped, right? And now it's like, okay, wait a second. Do I got to go back to work now? Like I got to go back to, you know what I mean? Now you got to make phone calls, to that. Right? You got to grind.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the psychological position people are in this industry, real estate, lending, they're not going to survive.
What do you mean?
Well, we had a meeting, right, today, and they're saying, well, they're going to retract and you're going to start to see that this is going to be one of the toughest markets people have faced over the last few years, that you're going to start to say, okay, well, a lot of these people that are loan officers, real estate agents, they're getting out of the industry. They're not going to be able to stick around.
Back to the strip club.
Hey man, you got to make a living, man.
Yeah,
I mean, and I get it. Maybe they're slinging on the side, but strip club. We're talking about the maybe the blackjack dealer.
Yeah.
Maybe the what did they used to do? What do they call it where you go park the car?
Valet.
I was trying to think of it. Valet. I mean, those jobs, because here's what it is. People are going to find alternate routes to make money.
Yeah.
They could, get a little side hustle going on, something going on,
have to.
and they're going to try to still dip into real estate, but it just, for the most part, it doesn't work. You have to be all in. You got to focus, especially now, you have to focus all your attention on what's going on in this market, or you're just not going to survive. All these memos, all these meetings, all these things that we're talking about right now, this stuff, you're going to start seeing people just drop off like flies.
This is where you're going to see the strong survive.
100%.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about this past year in food. We just talked about that. I want to bring this up, man, because this is affecting everybody. It's affecting me. I go to Costco. Everybody knows I'm a Costco junkie.
Yeah.
Right? You got to get that membership club.
Your supply of mayonnaise.
Dude, I'm going and getting that big jar of whatever it is and just storing it. That's what people are doing. They got to save money. So they're buying those membership cards.
Man.
Food right now is up 11.9%.
It's crazy.
year over year on what the costs are.
Well,
Costs are
I'm glad, and I'm not glad, but Friday, was it Friday or Saturday? I bought a pineapple, and I saw I saw the food prices. I'm like, wow, I noticed everything was going up, so I decided to buy a pineapple.
Right.
And then we replanted it. So in 9 months, we'll have another one. So I feel like that will save some money over the next year.
Well, dude, so like Vegas, man, is still thriving though. You got people that are moving from out, like coming from out of country, outside the country. They're really they're still vacationing.
No, that's not going to stop.
That's not going to stop.
Don't give a shit how broke you are. You're still going on vacation.
Well, I think is that the right thing to do though?
Look at half of what people are doing. Is it the right thing to do?
No.
Fuck no.
They don't give a
still
shit
coming here.
anymore,
No,
right?
people come here and you'll see people with their children on the strip at 3 a.m. Is it the right thing to do? Probably not. But they're not going to stop coming to Vegas. They're going to keep coming here, and vacations, there's no end to it. There's just no end. Hotels are going to give you discounts. If they're not filling up fast enough, guess what? You're getting a deal. You get a deal, you're going to that hotel. You're going on vacation.
So let me say this, man. Would you pay a premium? Like if you were could you justify paying, like, I'm going to go on that trip that I never went on this year because people didn't go on those trips, a couple years ago? Because I couldn't, dude, I can't sit there and be like, all right, I'm going to throw 20 at this, but I got no business happening back here. You know what I mean? If I'm one of those people.
Well,
that's
I guess
hard,
maybe
man.
you have to adjust what kind of trip you're going on.
Maybe, right?
Now, most people would say what I did, for instance, is boring as shit, over the weekend. And I'm not going to lie. It was the greatest weekend of my entire life.
This last weekend?
Yes. Aside from the
Do you
day my
even
son was
remember
born.
anything?
Yeah, I remember everything.
This
was literally the greatest. Hey, part of that was why it was so amazing. I'd never been so relaxed in my life. I got away from all the stress, and it was a vacation essentially for me. But at the end of the day, like, I was so relaxed. So maybe people are going to have to adjust what they do as far as what a vacation is. You might not be able to go and hit the pool and spend $5,000 on a bottle and things like that. But you know what? There's other things you can do.
Dude, you don't go spend $5 on a bottle?
No.
Dude,
Some
you
people
got
spend
$5 on it,
on a bottle.
$5 on
That's
it.
crazy.
Dude, you
I
remember when you were
can't.
back in the day when you would pitch in, everybody would pitch in to go get the what is it, the bungalow? And then
Bungalow. What are you drinking?
What is? Yeah.
I used to get a 40 of OE. The bag of chili cheese Fritos would go to 7-Eleven, tear
Dude,
open
you
the
wouldn't
bag,
have like 15
nacho cheese.
friends like saying, okay, we're gonna do
No.
it big time, and everybody pitches in $100.
Maybe for a bottle of E&J that was like $9, everybody threw in $1. Oh, it's the
Dude,
worst
I
shit
remember
ever.
going. So that I want to bring this up because it's kind of interesting. We have the Hard Rock.
Yeah.
And they've taken over.
It's Virgin, right?
Well, it's Virgin now, but they bought out now the same. They're going to put the Hard Rock over where the Mirage is at.
Wait, when did this happen?
Oh, it's happened last year. It started in like November. So they're making that transition, and there's this big thing, dude. Everybody's like, save the volcano, save the volcano.
I heard they're getting rid of that. I know that's why it was.
Yeah, so they have a petition going on where like, I don't know, over 5,000 people are signing to get this petition signed to save it. It's like, man, listen, it had its run.
Yeah.
Let it go.
They canceled
Put it at
the
end
Treasure
where there's
Island
nobody's
show.
at.
They're
Yeah.
going to cancel that. I mean, people don't come to Vegas to go stand on the strip and stare at that shit anymore.
No, man.
No one does that.
Well, listen, it had its day, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We had its day. So, I don't know. I just think that so I remember being back, and we're going to go into this housing sector here in a second because we're going to talk a lot about what we really want to discuss. But some of the stuff in Vegas, man, is something that brings, it just cracks me up because people go and they look at this stuff and they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do the day pool or the whatever. Dude, have you ever been to those pools and see like all the oils and stuff?
Disgusting, bro. It's disgusting.
Did
you see the stories that came out?
No.
They found all these levels of E. coli and bacteria in the pools.
Oh my God.
I mean, I could have guessed that. Anybody with common sense would have guessed what's going on. Think about it.
That's
You're in the
crazy,
pool,
dude.
right? You're at the pool all day. You've been sitting there 4 or 5 hours. Everyone's in the pool drinking. Not one person has got out to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
So clearly, this pool is being full of God knows what.
Yeah, I couldn't do it, man. And the thing is too, is like, how are you gonna sit there and like see all that and then be able to talk to somebody?
No,
I don't
not
know.
doing it.
Like if I'm like just completely gone and drunk, but
No.
even then, you couldn't do it.
No, hell no, man. That stuff is so
Dude,
nasty.
let me
I can't
say
do
this.
it.
What is what is the most, I would say, thought or the biggest thought or the biggest memory you have from Las Vegas or being on the Strip?
Wet and Wild.
Okay.
Wet and Wild when it used to be on the Strip right next to the Sahara. We used to hit Wet and Wild every day in the summertime, and we would get thrown out every day.
For what?
Going down the Darastuka head first. We would just do crazy stuff, ride the rides incorrectly. We'd be like 15 years old, and we'd be at Wet and Wild, and then they just started getting pissed.
You never went to like to a club or anything like that? Because when I came out here, dude, it was
been
weird.
to a few of them.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is I missed most of that time. I was 17. I joined the military, so I was gone for a little bit, and I pretty much skipped that whole time because I had a kid in high school. So I didn't get the opportunity like a lot of these single moms who just leave their kids and go out to the club every weekend. I didn't do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it was different. I didn't experience a lot of that. The only time I was in the club is when I was doing celebrity bodyguard work. Then I was in a lot of clubs a lot of the time, and that shit was crazy.
Dude, so I'm going to say this. So let's get into this big news, right? So everybody wants the juicy gossip of what's going on, man. So you were at a meeting today. Talk to me about what happened at this meeting.
Well, okay, so I get a lot of information that people choose to fill me in on, which I am not in their industry. I am not in the real estate industry. I'm a consumer. I'm not on the side that you're on. I know you know a lot about the real estate stuff, and you're a realtor and you do lending. I know none of that shit. So people who are in that industry for some strange reason feel the need after a meeting is over to reach out and be like, hey, Ethan, this is what we heard. And I'm like, bro, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm not in your industry, but this is great news. So today, at the end of this meeting, which wrapped up at about 4:00, just a couple hours ago, I made a prediction last September, and I said, hey, you know what? The way things are going, I feel by New Year's, the housing market's going to dip at least 20-25%. And I told some people, and they're like, nah, man, that's not going to happen. This shit's skyrocketing, going through the roof.
Right.
It's not going to bottom out. And I said, everything that goes up at some point must come down. So today, I get a text. It says, hey, guess what? The market's going down about 30%. And I was like, it's going 30% today? And they were like, no, by December, you're going to see an overall dip of 30% in home prices. And I was like, that is amazing. And they were like, no.
Yeah, but here's my question, man. Where do they come up with this data? Like, it's like, it's always great to throw numbers. You know, it's one thing, you follow people based upon fact. And I think a lot of people on YouTube and the people out there, they try to come up with stuff. I don't try to come up with anything. I look at data, and then I bring my opinion on the data.
A lot of it's guess, based on some data.
Correct.
I'm assuming
from my experience, right, that I've dealt with.
I'm guessing it's some analytical data that they're using to follow a trend on, or something like that. And that's where they're coming up with that overall average. I mean, it might dip harder. It may not dip that hard. But as of now, they're going off what's on the market, where the interest rates are, how things are going, a number of offers that are being made on homes, the length of time these offers are taking, how many they're getting, how close to the listing prices they're getting, and things like that. And things are getting closer to that listing price and not 50 grand over it just because someone wants it.
So listen, first quarter of 2022. Now everybody understands that in Las Vegas we're kind of softening here. That doesn't mean you're not getting at list price. It doesn't mean that the demand is less. It doesn't mean that we're not getting offers done. It just means that sellers are now getting checked, right? They're saying, hey, you know what? You're not getting what you think you're going to get, and that's fine. They maybe do a price reduction, 20,000 and 30,000. I see it. And so it really depends on, it's a case by case scenario in different pockets, different zip codes.
Yeah.
So to answer that and say, yeah, it's gonna decline, maybe in certain zip codes. I don't feel like it's gonna overall decline 30%. That's a little extreme.
Yeah, 30% is a big chunk. That's a third of your house. I mean, if you bought a $1.2 million house and it drops 30%, you just lost almost 40 or 400,000. I'm sorry. That's nuts.
Yeah, that's just, to me, it's extreme. So what I'm seeing out there is this. You got buyers going out, different homes, different price points. Let's say you go out and you make an offer. Well, that first offer you put in, or that first list that the owners do, the first listing that they put out, the price, that price is getting reduced typically at least one time. That's what I'm seeing for the most part. Yeah. Now, if it's turnkey ready and you're walking in, everything's great. But I'm starting to see that people are reducing or needing or thinking they should reduce the price because they're starting to see a turn. Rates have had this, are contributing to this. And speaking of rates, we're above, I think we're at 5.23. That's a huge part, right? Yeah. So to decline that far, though, I don't think it's happening in Vegas. I mean, I'll tell you right now, and we're still short of homes. So
I think a 30% dip, if that happens, and an increase in interest, I think that's going to cause some sort of a balance. Yeah, you drop the price of the house, the interest rate increases a little bit, it's going to have some sort of a balance there at the end of the day. So it's not going to be too crazy. But either way, it's still not the 15% that it was, 30 years ago.
Do you feel like, I feel like a lot of people, man, they're out there, they're just like, dude, I'm over this right now. Like, it's time out.
Just not buying shit?
Well, they're just like,
away?
dude, I'm like, dude, I'm getting it all over from all over different places, right? Like this news, this bad news.
Yeah.
People just are traveling. They're not really focused on housing. The refi boom is kind of gone, obviously. It will come back, though, because if you're getting a rate today at 6%, these rates go down. That's going to come back. You're going to refi your house. It's just this right now. We're seeing an economy slowing down. We see inflation high, and then we still see a shortage at home. So I don't know, man. It's just
think about this. This would be good for you if the housing market drops because you're going to have more sales, right?
Well, if the housing, I think the sales are going to be there regardless. Like I think that it's just all about how you position yourself.
Yeah.
It's harder to get people approved today. You go and there's some homes out there that you sell for $400,000. And, people look at it and they're like 5 or 6 offers because it's cheap, right? It's $400,000 in, Green Valley, Henderson. But then it has a lot of work to be done. The carpet's outdated. The stuff's, different things are outdated. But people are still willing to make multiple offers because they're like, well, I'll do all the work.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think so I don't know. It's a case by case. I think that's the challenges today is.
But as a seller, if you see a decrease and you're terrified because you know how the country works, everything is based upon fear and hysteria. So they tell you something, people freak out. They make a decision based on that. And if people go, oh shit, the market's going to drop. Let me hurry up and sell my house, even if I have to mark it down a little bit right now, just to hurry up and make that sale. That's what I'm going to do.
So let me say this, man. What else happened at that meeting? Because you said you also had some other things happen, right? So they said 30%. Drop
VA loans. Now, I never would have expected the feds would have touched the VA people. Like that's just something you don't mess with. I mean, they mess with us anyways, Sure. But when it comes to interest rates on your homes, that's something I never would have guessed. So they were at like 2%. Now they're going up to like 5 and change. So it's
like, what are you talking about? The interest rates?
Yeah, it's nuts. It's almost like 5.
Rates have gone up because they are just jacking up everything.
But even the VA loans, which should be something completely separate.
Yeah.
That is something that, as a veteran, that is supposed to be like this incentive. Anybody can go buy a home with the money, but as a veteran, you've stepped up, you've done something. This was kind of like their thing saying, hey, we're giving this back to you as a veteran with the whole $1 down. Now, that $1 doesn't mean shit if you can't afford that payment now.
No, 100%.
Yeah, so if you're going to jack that rate up, I mean, that's kind of crazy. The feds are just messing with everybody.
So they also said in Market Watch, I want to say this, there was an article that came into Market Watch that said there's going to be this big retraction for, 2006 levels, right, where we're going to retract. That's huge, right?
That would be crazy.
And again, it's supply and demand, so I can't really see how all of this data, there's nothing positive about anything out there saying this is a great market to buy in. No. There's nothing out there saying, hey, you know what? Rates are still, low. They're not historically low, but they're still low compared to what it used to be. Everybody right now is just completely sitting on the sidelines. They're not even thinking about buying a home unless you need a home. Like if you need a home, that's like only people I see that are out there looking for a house.
It's right in the middle right now. You're not on one side and you're not on the other. It's kind of in limbo. And I think a lot of people are just waiting for that to see if it's going to move because no one expected it to shoot up the way it did. And then it got so high. Then it started to drop. So people are like, well, okay, this is kind of messing,
Yeah.
It's playing back and forth. It's getting like real excessive. So a lot of people, like you said, they're backing off going, wait a minute. Let me see where this kind of simmers out at and where it starts to adjust to before I buy. And I think that's probably what will happen. But if October comes and we suddenly have 10,000, homes on the listings there, that's going to drop prices within itself just because so many are available.
So people are equity rich, right? So you got to think that we gained 62%, I think, equity in the first quarter.
Okay.
Doesn't mean it's going to be consistent for 2022. It's a lot. It's a big number, right?
Yeah.
It's like something that they increased crazy numbers in the first quarter here. So you got to think that people aren't going to walk away from their homes.
No.
And if they wanted to reposition, that's how they do it. They don't do it and say, well, I'm going to, have my wages increase high enough with inflation as it goes. Because we all know if you're on a fixed income, good luck.
Yeah,
you're going to be in a tough
gonna be
position.
tough, yeah.
So how do you fix that? Well, you take out the equity or you sell your house and roll it over to another house, right? And that helps you get into that house.
Yeah.
A lot of people, we all know from other states, just even in Las Vegas, they're doing it. So I don't think it's going to deter people from actually buying a house.
No.
But I do feel that, is our economy going to slow down? Sure. But I mean, to that level, we're still short homes, right? We have a huge amount of homes that people still need to buy based upon numbers we see. I'm seeing new home sector, like the new home sector, where people are backing out, rates are too high. They're even feeling it. They're having to we got all this standing inventory now. We'll bring this up here in a second. Standing inventory, guys, if you want to move in, spec homes, it's crazy because it happens so fast.
That's what happens.
This thing was going crazy, right? It was just, and all of a sudden it's like, everybody's like, wait a second.
But no one can figure out why.
Well,
no one can figure this nightmare out. No one.
Here's what it is. You got costs going up. Everybody knows inflation's going up. And when rates go up, that's the trigger. Once rates go up, I feel that just triggers people. People are triggered.
But what can you do about it? Well, what can you actually do about it?
Well, what they're talking about doing is they're strategically trying to figure out, okay, should I buy into this house market, right? This housing market, and then refinance down the road, or strategically say, you know what? Maybe we just wait on the sidelines. And I think a lot of people would rather just go vacation and go, and they got equity. A lot of people that own a home already, there's no real reason for them to leave. Yeah. The only ones that are really having to make that hard decision are these, millennial first-time home buyers or primary homeowners that don't have a house. Our millennial sector is one of the biggest conglomerates of people buying houses today, because they're out, they're getting into that first, maybe their second home, and they're the ones that are in the trenches trying to figure out if I should buy or not. For the most part, I think other people are just like, hey man, it's a timing thing. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I think the millennial sector is really the ones that's driving. It's either gonna drive the housing market up or down. I still feel they need a demand for it. And
we're gonna find out soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other things did they say about the meeting? Anything else?
That was pretty much it. From the gist that I got was that 30% drop, which was pretty significant, and then the interest rate increase just on the VA side. But like you said, there's enough equity in a lot of homes, so I don't think the market is going to go the way a lot of people think. But again, all you can do is sit on the sidelines and wait.
Do you ever feel that they're putting this news out to help slow the economy?
They leak shit out like that all the
and when
time.
I say they, I mean the media. The media is getting this information. They're like, okay, I understand it's factual or on a lot of the, there's a lot of data.
You leak information out to see what people are going to do. It's a classic military tactic we used to use sometimes, and we leak information on purpose just to see what someone will do with that, and hopefully they'll do what we want them to do based on the information we gave them. So we're not leaking out information that may be factual. It may be counterintuitive or counterproductive, but the goal is for it to help us in the long run based on the reaction and how people are going to respond to it.
Well, I think you could do that with the rates. The short-term bond is going to be raised up. I think the Fed's meeting tomorrow. They're going to raise it, and everybody's all these student loans, if you're getting them. By the way, some of those are forgiven a very small margin. We saw about that. Also, all the stuff that you're out there buying, cost of food's going up through the summer.
That's nuts.
Everything, and so it's really going to be very interesting to see what this economy does and how it turns out, say at the end of the year. I don't think the housing sector will decline 30%. I just disagree with that. But I also feel that everything else is going to continue to keep going up, because even as they're raising the Fed's fund rate, even as they see 40-year highs on inflation, the economy slowed down. We all know that. I feel it. I mean, all of us in this industry feel it, but yet it looks like inflation is still there and it's not coming down. So they got to do something extreme.
I put $90 to fill my tank up about 3 weeks ago. I still haven't put gas in again.
Wow.
I also don't drive that much, so it's quite beneficial.
So I also want to bring up a couple things, man. So appraisals out there, we're going out there. So when I'm taking these clients out, a lot of times, the appraisal market, it's based upon one's opinion. Okay, so somebody goes out there, they got to run comps, they got to make sure what's ever sold in that area. But what I'm starting to see is that we're starting to see properties come in low.
Okay.
under value. And it's a huge indication of what the market's doing. Look, when it's going up, what do appraisers typically do? They give you the value or even comes in higher. Now, you might get into a house. Let's say it's crazy how it works out, because all of a sudden it's like, oh, the market shifted. Yeah. And now you got 4 or 5 appraisals that's coming in low. You got to renegotiate. And that's happening with me a lot. But you look at like prices of like 550, 560. I had a deal that, you come in and it was, I think we offered at 560, came down at 530. And then when the appraisal came back, it had equity. So some of these sellers maybe are panic reducing their price of their home.
That might be. I think so.
And because this is, sometimes they do that and then they reduce it far enough that you're walking into equity. So it could benefit you too. It could actually help you in this market, right?
Yeah,
so I think that's one thing, but appraisals are a big indicator. I'm starting to see in this market, we're having a lot of appraisal values come in less than what we're looking for. And I'm telling you right now, man, it was these people, it's a make or break situation.
Okay.
If it's too far, what do people are going to do in this market? They're probably going to back out.
No, absolutely.
And a lot of these people know that this market's softening in areas. I always said it's softening right around that 750 to 900. You're going to go out there and find another house. A lot of these homes that we made offers on, they're coming right back on the market.
And it's funny that you mentioned everything's going up. I think it was Target that's even paying like $25 an hour right now for certain positions. So housing market goes up, prices go up, and then jobs pay you more. So at the end of the day, certain things are balancing out. So if you want a home that is more money, then just go make more money.
So let's talk. Yeah, let's talk a little bit, man. So I don't know. Like for me, what do you think is going to happen with this economy? Like, what do you think is going to happen with Las Vegas economy? Do you think we're going to continue to thrive here?
We always do. Even if Lake Mead dries up completely, we'll find a way.
Dude, 30%, isn't it? Like 30% left?
So low.
It's crazy
so
low, right?
You can see that B-2 bomber that's in the bottom of the lake, like when you're flying over it. You can see a lot of the old stuff from the old city that was buried under there when they filled up the...
Yeah, they had some boat sitting up like this, you know what I mean? So
we haven't seen that in ever.
No. So, I mean, for me, I look at this economy. I want to say this. So, guys out there, I just want to say that we're really trying to promote our website and promote trying to get into a house. If you guys are out there looking to buy a home and you need a place to get started, I wanted to show you guys real quick where I would get started, which is this website right here, which is lvhomeprofessionals.com. Check it out. This is a lot of good information right here. We always are updating this website, so I would check this out if you guys want to get registered and try this out. Also, too, we're getting a lot of updates on quick move-ins. And so if you guys want to go to LV Home Shop, this is one specific home that's coming on the market here. And they're quick move-in, right? These builders are having people back out, I wouldn't say in record numbers, but it's pretty alarming on how much they're backing out on these houses. So you got to think, okay, what are we going to do as real estate agents? Well, we're going to promote it, right?
Is that the actual home right there? That's in the picture?
That's the actual home right there in the picture. So if you guys want to get registered. So this one, I think this is up in Sky Canyon area.
Because I don't see another home 3 inches away from it, which is amazing. I love that sort of stuff.
They give the model. So they're not going to give you exactly what, but that's like the model.
Yeah.
And so, look, if you guys want to make an offer, put your information in your email, cell phone. We'll get you guys started on that. There's also another one here, a quick move-in. And if you guys go to these websites, lvhousepro.com, and register there, you're going to get on the list as far as possibly making an offer. Also, you can go to LV Home Shop, take a look at that. I also wanted to go into rates and what they're doing. So let's go ahead and back and take a look at these websites here real quick. So
hold on. Before you continue real quick, when he says register, it's not like any of these other real estate sites where they make you enter 5,000 pieces of information. This is literally 2 things, your email and your phone.
It's 2 things.
Easy, one and done. And you'll find whatever you need in Vegas.
And here's the other thing, too. We're going to have these same landing pages that's going to come up. Instead of us saying DM me, I'm getting a lot of people that are asking me about this questions about, a lot of these questions about open houses, what's going to happen this week, and also what's coming on the market, and do you have any pre-listed homes coming on the market? They always call them pocket listings, whatever.
Yeah.
So we're going to be able to get you guys that information. Well, I'm going to send you and direct you to a website here. We're building it now. It's going to be a landing page, actually, but we're building it so you guys can come in here and take a look at that information. So again, we're going to go back. It's LV Home Shop. Also, the other one is LV House Pro.
And any realtors that are doing open houses, if you're at a house that has a pool, I own a mass marketing company. So if you have a home you're showing that has a pool, let me know. I'll bring some drinks over, my swimming shorts. I'll hang out in the pool all day so people can see like how you really live.
Absolutely.
And we'll keep it posted all day.
So I want to go over here one more thing on this. So this is what rates are doing. Everybody always says, Dan, well, what's rates doing? And this is why people are really having a problem right now with the market, because you got to think, you just not too long ago. I mean, this was what?
Was that the 3% mark?
Yeah, this is July of last year. You're at 2.88, right? And now we fast forward to a year and we're at 5.23 on a 30-year fixed, right? So how does that impact people financially? Huge. I mean, you look at this, the housing market, you tack on a 5.3, and you got to think, let's go back and look at that. This right here is you're paying almost a point in discount fees to get that.
Oh, wow.
So that means that you're almost putting down, if it's a $500,000 loan, you got to pay roughly, $4,500, $5,000 just to get that rate. Who wants to do that, right? And I'm not saying like don't buy a house, but as rates go, as supply and demand goes, that's what the market's going to do. And that's what we're seeing right now with that.
You want to counter that 5.2% versus that 3%. Just pay a little bit extra.
Difference.
Pay a little bit extra every month on that mortgage, and you know what? You're going to counter that. Yeah, you're going to pay a little bit more towards that principal, but guess what? You can also help eat that percentage rate that went up.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to say this, man. So what else you got to say about the housing market? Anything else today?
I'm excited to see where it goes, whether it goes up or down. I'm really excited. I'm a consumer, so I'm on the outside of this.
Right.
I'm always looking for a good deal.
Yeah.
Always. So if shit just plummets, I'm waiting. I'm right there. I'm at the front door. I'm here with my money. Here we go. Let's buy this. Even if I move, I'm buying it. I'm going to rent it out.
Dude, so let's talk a little bit about what the vibe is you feel with Las Vegas. We had the COVID, and I want to bring this up because a lot of people come to Vegas. Do you feel like there's any drop-off with people that are coming to Vegas at all?
What do you mean, as far
tourism, as far as activity as far as people going to work and just doing their daily things? Even though with all these things happening, I just don't feel like there's a huge, like in my industry, there's a drop off. People just don't care about real estate right now. I mean, they just don't. I mean,
because it was so big and it was in everybody's face every day for so many months recently. People are ready to hear something new.
So people are traveling, they're in vacation, they don't care about what's going on here.
Yeah.
The economy here, though, I think is thriving still.
Of course.
I think it's doing very well. And we're going to be the outlier of everything that's going on in other, like compared to other cities.
Yeah.
Because we have everything, we have a lot of entertainment, people want to be here. So I don't know, man. It's just weird because the housing market is still in high demand here. And then all this negative news out there is saying, well, housing is going to crash. It's going to go down 30%. We're going to still see home prices stay where they're at today. I would say even towards the end of the year. I can't see any change. We might, take a break, put a pause on it, time out, but we're not going to just completely like, okay, now we're going to reduce or crash 30%. It takes more than that. It's going to take to a point where people can't afford their mortgage.
Yeah.
Right? Or they can't afford where they're living. But who's going to walk away with all that equity?
I think there's also other things that are going to affect that. There's going to be other things outside of the housing market that are going to affect the housing market, like the the Tropicana that they want to sell that property for a baseball team.
Yeah.
Well, they put a baseball team in. Guess what's going to happen? More people are going to move here. Houses are going to go up a little bit.
But the money's
again.
here. The money's here.
Yeah.
It's the psychological impact of the mindset of people. Like, dude, I got people that are looking at buying houses, right? And they're on the new homes list.
Yeah.
And you used to be able to walk into equity. Okay, so you don't walk into 100. Like, okay, first quarter, tons of equity. Maybe you don't walk into as much equity, but at least you're not going to decline either.
That's a good thing. You don't want to walk in and be upside down.
No, you don't want to be upside down. So I think that's where people's fear is at. Also, rates going up.
Yeah.
The same payment. I had somebody the other day, man. It was like $2,500. And it was like, hey, you know what? I can't afford it. And I'm like, it's $2,500. She's like, well, everything else I got going on, I can't do it. Now on paper she
start
can
an OnlyFans page.
On paper she can do it, right? But it's like, I get it, but people are talking themselves out of it where you would think complete different. It would be completely opposite because people used to be like, hey man, whatever it takes, I'm all in. Whatever it takes, I'm all in. Let's go over
so
whatever.
They're easing off now.
Yeah, now it's just like, okay, wait a second. Now that there's options, See,
Yeah.
and it's that fear of missing out, fear of buying or not being able to get into a house. Now that there's options, people are now just kind of taking their time, I think. And that's where I'm going with this.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. On a level like that, I think it makes absolute sense. There are some people that are struggling with a lot of stuff. So every dollar counts right now. So people are trying to save, I think, because everything else is going up in price, gas, food, and all the other stuff. So they'd rather put it into that than into their mortgage.
What do you feel about? I mean, we talk a lot about inflation today.
Yeah.
And it's just because it's affecting people's position of making decisions, right? It's all going to come down to, do I really need that house today, right? Can I wait? Do I really want to get those upgrades? Do I really want to add something or put that flooring in if you already own a house?
Yeah.
Do I want to do all those things? Even equity people that have equity in the house, they're not pulling it out just to do not like to spend it on stupid things. They're just storing it. It's like, hey, I got a nest egg in there. So I guess the question is that when you look at all these things, I don't understand why people think that this housing market will still not have buyers. And
I think it's always going to have buyers, but like you said, there's going to be a slowdown and there's going to be a speed up. It's going to be one or the other. It's just, when is it happening? How long is it happening for? And why? And when people can't explain why something is going the way it's going, they sit and they wait until they can understand, or wait for whatever this wave is to pass. That's what the human brain does. It's a fight or flight thing. It's like, okay, I'm going in all in, or I'm going to totally back off, or I'm going to sit by and wait and let this pass by and see what happens.
So I want to say this too, man. So you market.
Yeah.
You do a lot of marketing. Are people you deal with? Is there any realtors? Any people that you deal with on that level?
I've worked with a couple of realtors. I work, and it's funny because every realtor is different.
Okay.
People assume, oh, what does a realtor do? They just sell houses. And I have to explain, no, they don't just sell houses. They're selling themselves. You're putting your image together. You're putting yourself together. You do all kinds of crazy shit from what I see. And I mean, even running this show, I mean, I don't know why you're not in like production right now. You're running all this stuff. So you market yourself daily, constantly, in a different way from most realtors. Most realtors don't have a YouTube channel. Most realtors aren't showing properties the way that I would want to see them.
Right.
When I look at homes, I'm looking at videos of crazy stuff on the internet all the time, and I'm like, man, that's a crazy house. How did they film that? Like, is there a drone involved? Like, what is this? So,
does that flash sell you though?
Absolutely.
Does it really?
Yeah, I'm a consumer. Show me cool shit. Don't show me boring
Let me
shit.
write this down real quick. Drone footage. Drone footage.
You want to sell something, you can sell anything you want.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like a t-shirt company is going to sell t-shirts. You have a factory that has t-shirts, right?
Yeah.
You can sell those t-shirts to 50 different companies, and those 50 different companies are putting 50 different logos on the same shirt. But guess what? Those shirts are priced way differently. You can get the same exact shirt for $10 or $100. It's the same shirt.
Well, let me say
but
this.
It's what's on it.
Let me say this. I want to say this. So there's a lot of people out there that do real estate agents. They do have YouTube channels.
Yeah.
I think it's fixated. They get fixated on the idea of the marketing part of it, and it's actually a hobby. It's fun.
Yeah.
For some, but then there's some out there that are just like, hey man, go with me. And it's almost like this. You fake it till you make it, right? And it's you see it enough. Like, oh, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about, right?
Yeah.
But there's some people that don't really know what they're talking about, but you see him all the time. So is it really just about, does this guy know what the hell he's talking about? Does he know the data? Does he know the facts? Or is it about, man, this guy, he's doing like this crazy video and it's like got all these different angles and
I'm a consumer.
Drone. So you know what I mean?
I'm a consumer, right?
Right.
I'm going to tell you how I look at shit, and I'm going to tell you how the average person looks at shit, because I do marketing. So I see trends that come 6, 7, 8 months out ahead of time. So I know where things are going to change in virtually every market as far as imagery and what people are looking for. I may not know the analytics behind it, but I know what the average person is typically looking for and what catches their attention and why they are doing what they are doing. I took a lot of psychoanalysis training in the military, so I understand the human brain pretty well. So it's very interesting. As a realtor, my personal opinion is if you can show a homeowner why they should live there and how that home can adapt to that person and all the cool shit that house has that person is into and likes, if you can do that with every home you're selling, I think you're golden. But if you can't do that and you can't decipher like the difference between a home and the buyer, if you don't know your buyer, you're not going to sell shit.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just my opinion.
Do you watch YouTube?
All the time.
What's your favorite? What do you watch? Like, what is your genre of things that you watch, or is it just an array of things on YouTube?
I watch a lot of gun videos. I watch videos of people getting hit in the nuts a lot. I'm your typical consumer.
Did you go see that movie Jackass?
Every one of them. Every one of them. I mean, even though I'm behind the marketing, also in the front, people like catchy shit, man. They like stuff that makes you suddenly have this feeling of like, holy crap. Whatever that holy crap is, that's what people love, man. That's where the attention comes.
Well, I think too, man, you got to be likable. That's part of it, right? And so, you know, you look at this stuff though, and I'm always interested in seeing what and how people find somebody and what gravitates that person to you, right? And it's actually an honor. Like, I mean, you got a fiduciary responsibility on any business. But I think people want to just tell you, hey, man, this is how it is. Like, hey, take it or leave it, man. But a lot of people are like, oh, no, buy now, do it now, you know. And it's like, I don't know, man. Is it the right time? And that's why I always tell people, like, everybody's always like, you know, if you're going to go out and buy a house, realtors get this thing, too. It's like they get really put down a little bit on.
Really?
Well, a little bit, because they're always like, oh, it's always the best time in the world to buy. We understand it's like part of it's our livelihood. Yeah. So
sure.
Lending real estate. But you also give them the facts too.
Yeah.
Like, well, look, I want to earn a commission, or I want to make my money, or whatever business it is. But you got to be like, dude, right there and say, hey, look, you know, this is what's really happening. You know, this market, I've had people tell me, could dip another 2 times. You know, we're starting to see our first wave of reductions. Do you want to buy? Oh, I don't know. Maybe we'll wait. Well, you could. What if we don't see that second reduction? I mean, we're just assuming.
Yeah.
But it's not like, hey, you know what? You better buy, because it's almost like that fear tactic. You better buy or you're going to miss out. Now, I go off of experience. People tell me, hey, should I have bought a home 2 years ago, a year ago? I'm like, yeah, you should have. Okay.
Yeah, but all those people are always going to be the person that is like, oh, shit, I should have, I would have, I could have.
But well, where they kick themselves is this. Okay, so the same rate, they can't get the same rate.
No,
the same house is not the same house. That's like another 2, you know, maybe 300 or 400 square feet less. Maybe the location's not there. But it's
all about pulling that trigger. If you find what you want, jump on it. What's stopping you?
Well, I think Vegas is still going to be competitive. Yeah. And I feel that a lot of these buyers, it might be the right time for you. We always say it's a case by case, and we got all these pockets and this and that. The reality is that somebody has to be able to be a chameleon and adapt to whatever that environment is or that situation is to ultimately get the goal of what the person wants. It's in any business. You know, Absolutely. It's not just in real estate. It's you're doing a service, so then you got to provide the service. So I always bring this up because real estate agents here and real estate in general in Las Vegas is very cookie cutter, very competitive.
Really?
Yeah, I think a lot of agents copy people in a lot of things. I do. That's just my opinion.
Well, if it works, why not, right?
But that's the thing, right? So that's where you're going to see, I always say this, that top 20% in this type of market, because when we started the show, we said this is going to be a tough market.
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot of people start hopping out of this market. The days of you just showing up at work and getting a paycheck, or just, hey, you know what, my name was here and I went to this, and you're going to have to earn that money, you know? And these buyers know that. These buyers know, like, hey, man, it's starting to get really slim pickings out here. So if you can survive this storm, the people that survive the storm in this industry is going to still be very, you know, handsomely rewarded.
Absolutely.
You know?
I think if you're a shark in the water, I mean, you're going to dominate. You're going to kill it.
Yeah.
It's with everything you do. In my field, I've seen like 20 new marketing companies pop up in the last week. And I'm like, who are these dipshits? And I look at what they do and how they do it. And so for me as a consumer, when it comes to real estate, I'm looking at the person who's going to sell me the house.
Right.
I'm looking at who is providing the service for this business. And that's even why people come to me for what I do, is because of what I do and how I do it. People actually do care about that shit. It's not that, oh, I can get this or I can get that. It's who can get it for me.
Well, let's talk about you, man. So you market shit, right? You do a lot of marketing. You do a lot of stuff that's going on within. Let's just not even put in real estate. Let's just talk about Las Vegas in general.
In general.
What types of people have you marketed for?
I actually worked with, let's see, I've got a Chinese Hawaiian cuisine restaurant that I work with. It's over off of Sunset. in Rainbow area, out there by IKEA. I've worked with a couple of tire companies, rim companies, vehicle wrap companies.
How do they say it? Lantero? Lantera?
Llanteros? Yeah,
Lantera.
the tires. Yeah, so
Lantera.
and it's funny because a lot of people are trying to advertise their business. In Vegas, there is no shortage of businesses. No shortage here.
No.
And right now, I love to be able to work with as many different businesses as possible. And when people say, oh, wow, you've worked with celebrities, why would you want to work with me? And I'm like, why not? I want to help you. If I can drive traffic to these people, I can help you. Let's make your business thrive, man. This is Vegas. You've got a couple million people in the city.
Do you feel like there's more control with that, though? Like if somebody's like, look, it's just like with me, and I always try to reference my industry. If somebody comes in and says, Dan, we're going to do what you say.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everything, but do what you say. I'm going to say for the most part, it works out good. I'm not going to say I'm perfect because nobody is. Let's just be honest. But the reality is that I've seen enough, right? I've seen and understand. So with somebody that's lower on the totem pole, I'm not saying they're lower as people.
Yeah.
But I'm saying on the income spectrum.
Smaller.
Yeah, they don't have the same clout, right?
Exactly.
Those types of people, it's more of a challenge. And it's a bigger reward. Those people will be just, they will take you to dinner. You will have gifts.
Absolutely.
You will, everything, right? So that's the challenge for you.
For me, for instance, check this out. So I normally would charge a general small business about $1,500 a month to do marketing, right? And that's 7 days a week, multiple times a day, unlimited postings every day of the week, 365 days a year. Now, this month, I'm doing it for $500 for everybody. That's $16 a day. Is your business worth $16 to you?
Yeah, my business is worth $5 a day.
If your business is a tire company or you're a realtor or whatever, it's not about how am I paying for leads? It's I want to have my shit seen so I can have clientele constantly coming in. So I've had to kind of navigate this new, area of life with the way the economy is going, even myself, in saying, hey, how can I help these businesses? How can I change my approach? How can I do this? How can I do that to benefit them? So now what I'm doing is I'm giving everybody $1,000 off a month, and I'm going to do their social media every single day for $16.
Yeah, but here's my thing. So is it because you want to retain that business for future, or is it they're in a financial struggle right now and you're just trying to help out?
It could be both. You know what? I don't care what I got to do to earn someone's business. At this point, it's because I can do it, so I'm going to do it. If someone's out there going, hey, man, we'll do it for $1,000, I'm going to go, you know what? I can do it better for $500. Why? Because I can. If I have the ability to help someone, I'm not going to be a dick. Like, I'm going to approach this family mom and pop business and say, hey, you know what? I don't want you to get gouged. Here's what I'm going to do for you every day, guaranteed, and I'm going to do it for less. And they always ask me why. And I'm like, why not? You're investing in your business.
That's a great topic because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have to reduce or take pay cuts.
Yeah.
There's undercutting probably going to happen now in this industry. Yeah. Your industry, it's going to get very competitive because
like you said, they're cutting a lot of people from real estate, right? From these companies.
Well, Redfin laid off 8% of their workload.
And that's a big company.
That's a big chunk. 8%.
Big chunk. So they're gonna lay those people off. Yet they're hopefully expecting to make the same amount of money, if not more.
Well, I think they're saying, look, the economy is retracting.
Yeah.
At least we see the data. The housing market is just, man, it went from like going 100 miles an hour to, we're probably going 50, right? I mean, it's half as far as how busy it is, it's probably half of what I see or what I've seen out there with buyers. The listing side, people are starting to list their home, but they're not getting what they want. So kind of going back to what you're saying is when you're looking at your position of taking a pay cut to earn that person's business, the psychological part is, let's be honest, we're all human. Okay. I brought this up to another agent at one point and they were like, would I really take a pay cut? Like, would I really do? I said, we'll do it for half a point. Okay. So if you're saying, are you going to do commission for half a point on every deal? Or is it, you're going to just do this one off? Because you got to think of it like, you got to think of it like this. Like, let's not kid ourselves. Yeah. We all do this job because we're paid lucrative income. Now it's changing.
Yeah.
We're not the same as it was probably for you. Same thing. But now you're trying to you have to adapt to the market. And so that doesn't mean I'm going to say, well, I'm going to take a pay cut on all this. But what it does mean is that now you got to go above and beyond a little bit. Where if that person, whoever it is, whatever industry it is, you're going to have to really put your best foot forward. And you might have to do that, take a pay cut, because now they might know people that has, friends or family. But I mean, dude, for a realtor to say, well, I'm going to just do this all at half a point or whatever it is. Dude, let's be honest. Everybody wants to make money.
Absolutely.
Nobody's out there
the goal.
as a real estate agent when you got 20,000 agents out there trying to hit the streets and get that next sale because we're not making money. We're making money. I mean, if you're doing it right and you're in that top 20%, you're going to make money.
I think you're doing it right, man. You've got a lot of new websites. You've got your channels going. I mean, I think you're doing it right. You're doing, I know you said there's a lot of realtors who do this, but I don't think that's true. I think based on the total number of people out there in your industry, it's a lot smaller percentage doing it than you might realize. There's not a lot of people who take what they do very seriously. They just do it and they just kind of get through the day. And there's a lot of people like that.
So what for your job? Let's talk about you as your situation. So,
okay.
Do you feel like every day you wake up, you got to be better than the next, right?
Absolutely. I wake up, man, and I piss excellence. I wake up and I'm just killing it. I get motivated every day. And I go, you know what? I'm going to see how many people I can help today. When I leave the house, I never leave without my business cards. I always go and I always am everywhere. And if I walk into a store to go buy something, I ask them, hey, who's doing your marketing? Oh, we have this company we're paying a few grand for. I'm like, you're paying a few grand to do what? Man, I've looked at your social media. This is crap. No offense, but I can do it for like a third of the price. And they're like, seriously? I'm like, yes, I'll start with you this week and we'll make it happen. And I'll walk out with some happy people, man. Like,
the economy, do you feel like the economy, it dictates what I get paid? It dictates what everybody in this industry gets paid.
Everybody.
Right? So
everybody.
You have to think of it like this. This does impact housing. This does impact you. It impacts everybody around us.
Everybody.
So my thing with this whole economy thing, with your, telling me what you would do for discounts and things like that, is that really sustainable though? Like, can you really sustain that just to get you through this storm? Because I think a lot of people want to wake up with that, hey, I'm pissing excellence.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden
you've got to figure it out.
A wall.
You have to but you have to figure out what works for you, because what I do is not going to work for the next company. What they do is not going to work for the next person. Now, the way I structure what I do, I make sure that on my back end, I'm able to cover everything I need to cover. I minimize as much as possible. That way I can maximize my income and use it for what I need. If I'm not spending a bunch of money on the back end on unnecessary shit, guess what? No matter what, I'm making more money regardless. If I'm spending more, if I have a $5,000 a month car payment, honestly, I don't need that.
Yeah.
I don't need to waste that money. That's an extra 60 grand a year that I could be putting into something else for my business. So it's not what's coming in. Ultimately, it's what's also going out in your business. So if you know how to cut certain things out and you know how to maximize what you're doing, I think it can be quite beneficial. There's a lot of businesses out there. Again, back to you, what you're doing, I don't know how much time you're taking out of your day to do it, but I'm sure it's helping you.
I wake up at like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And I plan for the show all the way up until about an hour before the show. I'm just playing.
This guy, man. All day long, your channels, your websites. I mean, that is beneficial. That is helping your business.
You know what it does to me, though, is it drives me to be better, too.
Okay.
I mean, let's just say that. I mean, and I think that's a lot of people. I think ultimately everybody wants to be liked. They want to be able to be trusted.
Yeah.
They want to earn business and provide for family, this and that. But it's also hard because I think that it doesn't always go your way.
That's why you have to surround yourself with people who want you to succeed, just as bad.
Well, I'm saying like this market.
Yeah.
So like this market that we're in now, a lot of people, like, it's not doom and gloom, but it's going to be a time where you're going to have to really keep your relationships, really keep grinding, keep putting out that information.
Yeah.
For me, that's a challenge. Now, some people will be like, hey, I'm back to, like you said, the strip club, right?
Yeah.
I'm going back to the strip club.
Easy money.
I'm going back as being a bouncer, whatever it is. The challenge is, can you stay and withstand into this business? And I think if you can, then you're obviously going to, really get all the rewards that comes with it by struggling through it. But again, the market dictates our money. The market dictates.
Absolutely.
Now that might not be for everybody though. Like if let's say you're running a restaurant or you're running a food place or something, or your gas, obviously, if it's a necessity, then people are going to continue to make money. They're going to, like, if you're working at the dentist, people need to get their teeth done, right?
Yeah.
For me, not everybody needs to buy a house. Not everybody needs to get a refinance when the rates are 5.23.
No, but every day someone is looking to buy a house. Every day someone becomes.
But is it a necessity?
Every day.
Maybe for the first time home buyers or the primary,
Yeah.
but even then, hey man, I'm just going to wait it out. I'm going to wait 6 more months. That's the difference. If the market changes, it really changes the industry as a whole.
Yeah.
Right. You got layoffs, you got rates going up. People are now not refining. I know that the activity level I see around, and like for me, I'm still doing good. Like I'm still making, pretty decent, but it's not like it was. And let's all be honest with ourselves. So the economy, depending on what you do, like your marketing, there's always going to be somebody out there that you can market with.
Always.
You know what I mean? There's always going to, it might be, hey man, we're selling water. People need water.
Yeah.
You can go market that. For me, it's like, dude, okay, how do I reinvent the wheel here? Not saying that you don't go in and, you're trying to like, collaborate and, go into, your room and try to figure things out. But for me, dude, it's like, okay, it went from this to this. How do I get it back just even middle to here? Where a lot of these people, they're not going to see the same economy I see.
I think a lot of people have this fear of allowing other people to come into what they do. Everybody wants to figure it out on their own. And that's tough. You get stressed out. You try to figure out the solution of how to fix what you got to fix all by yourself. You can't do that. People bring people like me in to support and help fix what they're doing. If your business is struggling, if you're in decline, or if you're trying to boost it, you've got to kind of surround yourself with other people. It's like being the quarterback of a football team. Mm-hmm. You can't throw the ball, catch it, and score. You've got to have a whole team to help drive and make that hole for you to succeed with what you got to do. You've got to be able to score with like-minded people. So you do real estate, you're going to want to have someone that's constantly pushing what you're doing while you're focused on your business. If you have a water company and you want to get that brand out there, well, guess what? You're working on developing your water company. Someone else needs to push that visual for you.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can't do everything yourself. I've gained clients from the TV show Shark Tank simply by contacting them when they get kicked off the show, because the first question they ask them is like, wow, you have a great product, you have a great business, but how are you marketing this? And they go, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have marketing. And I'll message them immediately. So you have to know the industry you're in. You have to know what your capabilities are. And if you're not capable of something, or you want to push further in a decline like the economy that we're in right now with certain things, you have to be able to bring someone in that can do it for you. And it has to make sense.
So your business right now, would you say it's increasing, decreasing, or just?
I think it's increasing. I decreased some prices for this month. Like I said, that $500 a month, I spent a lot of time figuring out how can I help everyone, not just a select group of people. And I realized that every single business can afford $16. Everyone, even if you own a tamale stand, everyone can afford $16. And by coming up with that number, I realized I can help every business. And let me tell you that by spending $16 to increase your business is probably the best move you can do, because it eliminates stress from you. Mm-hmm. It eliminates everything you have to do to constantly push and really get out there. And you can focus more on the development of your business. So by starting to build a team and bring other people in, it can benefit you in this economy.
Do you feel like there's a way out of this then? Like, let me say this. So there's people searching right now. Yeah. And I'm not saying, this is not like, this is the world's going to, it's not,
it's next week and the world's going to end at 4.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that lifestyles are changing. I think people's psychological position in life is changing. Just having 2 incomes now, household incomes, might not be enough.
No, it's not.
And I talked about this. I mean, like we talked about starting the show, people are equity rich. So they're sitting on a nest egg. How long is it going to be before they actually, okay, we're going to come back out? I think if rates get down to 4% or even get close to that, we're going to start to see more people come back in. No refis. But I think right now, I'm just saying this is going to be very challenging times for people. And
it's going to show people what they're made of.
Well, in business for sure.
Yeah.
Do you feel like families are really going to be really devastated by?
Anytime there's added stress like that, what you just said for the average person is a lot of fucking stress. And that, of course, puts weight on marriages, families. That puts weight and stress on all that. And they always say the number one reason that families fall apart is financial. So if you have all this added stress in this economy and they're not able to come up with the funds they need, I mean, yeah, that's going to cause some serious problems.
Yeah. I feel the same way, man. So, we talked about rates going up. We talked about the equity in homes, how that's changed. And I don't think it's going to continue to go into second quarter, third quarter. I don't think you're going to start to see that.
See what happens.
We'll see what happens. I also don't feel that Las Vegas, what everybody thinks is that we're going to go through a recession or crash to a point of 30%. Could we go through a correction in certain pockets? Sure. I feel that we're going to plateau, maybe slightly come up, or just stay where we're at.
Yeah.
But as long as supply is low, we've gone up. I think we're over a month's supply. I feel that we need probably 8,000 to 10,000 homes on the market for this to be. We need.
Someone said by October we should be about 10.
Well, we'll see.
That's crazy.
Here's the question about that. What is the driving force behind that statement?
Man, you've got me there.
See, here's my thing is, unless you can prove that we're on this decline for a specific reason. What happened in 2006? It was bad loans. There's nothing here that says, other than inflation. Now, could inflation slow the economy where people aren't buying? Sure. Yeah. But we still have people that need homes, and we're still short 5.1 million according to last year in 2021. So for me, I still feel that the demand will still be there. The supply will still be low. It would be a different story if there was a higher supply of homes and we're going into a market like this. Because it's still low, I feel that we're still going to have not a good market, not a great market, just an okay market. People are going to still want to come in and buy properties. And you know what? Yeah, could we decline 5 or 10%? Sure, I think that's realistic.
Yeah.
But I still feel that people want to buy homes, and we're still short, so it's not going to go anywhere.
Well, it's time to take a different approach on life, and kind of retract, rebuild, and reproach. If you want that house, if you want to change your life, you want to go on those vacations, man, you're gonna have to take a step back and figure it out. You can't always live the way you always have lived. You kind of have to adjust and adapt to the times.
You almost sound like a life coach.
No, fuck that. If I was a life coach, I would be making people cry right now. I couldn't even be a coach in the gym.
Dude, you sound very motivating. Like your whole persona.
You have to be. Man, Dan, let me tell you something. I came from less than shit. So every day I wake up, I want to succeed. When I look at someone and they go, oh, I can't do this, I'm like, you're an idiot. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, think about what you have going on in your life. Take a look at what you have and break that shit down. If you look at what you have and you learn how to restructure and rebuild a few things, you can definitely get where you want to get. Even myself, I've had to take a step back. I've added a few people into my circle of what I do for work to make what I do that much better. I've added one of the biggest CEO or SEO people in the country. I've added one of the best logo creators in the country so that when a business comes to me, they say, hey man, I know you just do marketing. I go, you know what? I can also help you with this now too. So you have to know the tools that you have. And when you wake up, you can't be like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. I've literally had almost everything I've ever wanted in my life. Cars, trucks, houses, everything. And the way I got that is because I kept telling myself every day, this is what I want.
Yeah, so that drove you. I mean, that was your driving force.
You just gotta want something.
Well, a lot of people have family and kids. I mean, there's a lot of people too that make it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, is this it? Like, I got a lot of people that are like, hey, you know what? I'm making all this money and I'm doing this. I'm telling you. And then it's like, wait a second. I've really accomplished everything in my mind that I wanted to accomplish. Now they're trying to. So I think it's just different, but I get what you're saying.
Well, that's why people always ask me, well, what's the end game here? I say, there is no end game. What's the goal? You know what, Dan, I don't have goals. I have no goals. And I know that might sound sad to some people, but at the end of the day, the reason I don't have a goal is because that means if I have a goal, I have a stopping point. I don't have a stopping point in anything I do. There's no goals here.
You don't have a 5-year plan.
No, there's no 5-year plan. I don't even have a 5-minute plan. I don't even know what's going to happen.
There's no 401k.
There's none. There is a stack of cash in my house somewhere.
What about Bitcoin that just got declined today in crypto?
That took a huge bite.
Yeah.
That Bitcoin, that's bad.
Dude, all markets are going nuts right now.
Everything is going nuts, but you still can't wake up and give up.
No, you can't. But I think let's just be realistic. And I think what I'm trying to give people is a genuine response to what I'm seeing in the industry.
Yeah.
I'm in it. I'm in the trenches. I see what's going on. I'm writing offers. I'm talking to people. I mean, it's just a different world. We're heading back to a time where it's not an easy paycheck anymore. And I think that's why we're bringing this up, is because a lot of people don't understand it. Our goal here in this show is to let you guys know, like, hey, listen, we see it. We're not going to bullshit nobody, right? And we're just going to come out and say, hey, this is where the market's at. We're gonna talk about the sensitive stuff, like what's going on with rates, right? What's going on with that? Like, is it really a good time to buy? Well, let's talk about it. It's case by case. What am I really going through when I'm making an offer on these houses? And what are some of the challenges? What are appraisals doing? What's inflation? How is that impacting? Because, dude, it's impacting my clients. Like, people don't want to buy a house because inflation's going higher, right? And costs are going higher. So, yeah, we're going to talk about those things.
But that almost sounds like a cop-out sometimes. Oh, inflation, deflation. Well, guess what? You want to buy a house? You don't want to buy a house.
Listen, if you're a family of 5, though, okay, and you got maybe 1 household income, maybe 2, is that really sustainable?
Should you be looking at buying a house then?
Well, that's the problem, right? And so before, it's like, hey, you know what? We have this opportunity. Now's the time to do it.
Yeah.
Now it's a point where should I or shouldn't I? And that's, you just said it right there. Maybe you shouldn't buy a house. Maybe they shouldn't. And that's not for you. It's, how about this too? You've been priced out of the market.
Yeah.
And that's not saying but
it's like poker. People will, if you have a little bit of money and the next guy to you has the stack, guess what? He's going to make you limp in before you know you're out of money, not because you couldn't play well, but because you don't have the money to even play the game to begin with.
Yeah, so I'm going to say this. We got to end the show. I'm going to say this. So I don't think that anything's going to happen. We have another record number or high amount of equity in the first quarter of 2022. People aren't going to leave their house, man. They're not going to just bounce and say, hey,
it's not going to be like 2009 or 2000 when they left the keys in the door and walked away. I don't think it will get that bad, but it would be nice to see a decrease. Like, it would be nice to see.
Well, it's normal.
Yeah.
But I don't think see, once somebody says, oh, buy at the dip or let's do this. Once somebody sees that there's a situation where we've now changed direction, that doesn't mean it's just going to collapse. It just means that, hey, what goes up can't keep going up.
But you never truly know where that dip is. You know it's moving, but you don't know where that final dip will ever be. That it happens when it happens. It is what it is, and you'll never know. It's one of those things where you find out after the fact where that final dip was.
Yeah, I'm going to bring this up real quick, man. I want to go ahead and see if we can get let me see. What's your Instagram account?
AEY Marketing Official.
AEY Marketing Official. Is that right?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can bring this up real quick. You on here? Where's your Instagram? There's Facebook. Not sure where it's at. Let me see.
You got to go to Instagram.
Let me just do Instagram. I'm going to first off and say this. So let's go ahead and go over here. So again, I want to pitch this, guys. If you guys are looking for a house, this is a great place. We're also going to be adding not just the new construction coming soon, right? That's important. We're also going to be adding, if you guys want to find a pre-listed home on here that's not on the market. Also, I think I just said that.
Yeah.
I mean, open houses. Talk about open houses. So if you guys want to say, we're going to put this open house list on here. And then also too, we're going to put on a list of where these properties are going to come on. These are quick move-ins. The reason we're bringing this up is because I'm getting a lot of emails from builders saying, hey, man, we can't sell this property. Get your clients here. Come in. We have property. We have standing inventory. When you go back 6-8 months, man, it was just, dude, you're on a list.
Yeah.
And you're 12 months. And I mean, think about it. You could walk into a house now and it's a brand new home and you don't have to wait. Materials aren't a problem anymore. I mean, that's a big deal.
Now's the time to buy.
Now's the time to buy. So check out lvhomeshop.com. Also check out lvhousepro.com. I don't know who came up with those, some weird guy. But so also too, like I said, rates are going higher. Let's pull up your Instagram account, and then we got to end the show real quick.
Absolutely.
So Instagram.com,
AEY Marketing Official. And guys, if you're listening right now, I'll give you $1,000 off of all the marketing every month. Save $1,000, put it into your business.
Is that how you do it, man? Is that because there it goes. Let me see. There you go. There we go. So let's bring this up really quick here. I want to bring this up. Okay, so there's your guy, and that's you, man. Dude, what's up with that? Dude, you got some tats?
I'm covered, man.
Are you covered?
Yeah.
Dude, what is that tat right there on your chest?
In Hebrew, it means all bets are off.
This means all bets are off?
Yeah, and then I got the full chain link.
Wow.
Yeah, I did some time in the Fed, so I got my prison tattoos. Yeah, I mean, but for a marketing page for having 112,000 followers, I mean, and I'm nobody. I'm just a marketing page. I market for other people. Most marketing companies don't have numbers that high, and that video, that particular one you're pointing at, is a video I did for Harry's Razors. Now that I'm an affiliate with them,
you want to play it?
Go ahead. That video got almost 150,000 views.
Let's see if we can play this.
Absolutely.
Let's see if we can get some sound on this real quick.
Must be exceptional. U.S. Marine, oftentimes my life is on the line. So the tools I need to survive must be exceptional. But when my neck is on the line, Harry's is the only razor I use. Get yours today, harrys.com. If you don't, I'll find you and I'll fucking kill you. As a U.S. Marine,
They reposted that immediately.
That's crazy.
And that's
man.
why people come to me. I do marketing on a level that most don't.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna take a chance. So
You have
I
to,
get
man.
it.
Every business is different. You have to take a chance on yourself, on your business, and what you do, man. Because if you play it safe, guess what? You're gonna have safe money.
You guys know what's time. It's the time to leave here. We're gonna have to end the show. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys tuned in, also this is the most real behind the scenes information on financing, real estate, money talk, entrepreneurs. You're gonna get the real facts from me. I'm your host Dan French, streaming live here from Las Vegas. Subscribe, like the channel. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys at the next video on Saturday. I got a builder coming on. You guys want to tune into that? Thank you for watching the French Workbench podcast. You can find us here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. and Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. to find out all the information on real estate and financing here in Las Vegas. Also, check us out on our LV Home Professionals website. You can find your future home there, a lot of good information, and you can find us on audio-only options through SoundCloud and